Bluey might seem like just a simple kids show, but hidden beneath the fun are secrets most fans have never noticed. Chilli's mom is one of Bluey's biggest mysteries. The show never says what happened to her, but there are clues hidden in the episodes. And when you put them together, the truth might be more heartbreaking than you think. Let's call Chilli's mom Kate, just to make things easier. From what we see in the flashbacks, Kate passed away when Chilli was very young. In the episode Dragon, Chilli remembers her mom from when she was just a pup. The name Dragon might not be random. It could be a hidden clue. Some believe it symbolizes something strong but destructive, like a serious illness. Cancer, maybe. If that's the case, Kate might have been sick for a long time before she passed. Chilli's dad, Mort, was in the military, which means he was probably away a lot. That could mean young Chilli had to grow up fast, taking care of herself while her mom was unwell. And if Kate had cancer, there's a chance Chilli saw her struggle with it, which could explain why she worries so much about her dad now. But here's where things get even sadder. If Chilli's childhood was like this, it makes sense why she doesn't remember the first time she met Bandit. Maybe she had too much on her mind. Maybe she was just trying to get through each day. And maybe that's why Bluey never tells us what really happened. Because some things are too painful to say out loud. One of the saddest mysteries in Bluey is about the older sibling who was never born. It's clear from the episodes The Show and Onesies that Chilli lost her first pup before having Bluey and Bingo. That's why they're called rainbow babies. But here's the question. What would their older brother's name have been? There are some clues hidden in the show. The Healer family seems to follow a pattern when it comes to names. Grandpa Bob, Bandit, Bluey, and Bingo all start with B. Uncle Stripe and Uncle Rad don't follow this, but Chilli clearly liked keeping the tradition. That means the lost pup's name likely started with B too. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Bluey's name isn't just a cute play on her breed. The letter Y at the end makes it sound smaller, almost like a nickname. What if that was intentional? What if Bluey's original name was meant to be just Blue? Think about it. Chilli and Bandit might have already picked the name for their first pup. They could have even bought things with the letter B on them, expecting him to arrive. But when tragedy struck, they never got to use that name. Then, Bluey was born. Instead of picking something completely different, they might have added the Y to honor the pup they lost. Maybe that's why Bluey carries the name she does. A quiet reminder of the sibling she never met. A part of the family story that Bluey never fully explains. McKenzie's mom didn't always look the way she does now. In the early episodes, she had a single spot on one side of her face, but in later seasons, spots appeared on both sides. So what happened? Some might think she dyed her fur, just like how people change their hair color. That's possible, but there's another explanation that makes even more sense. Since Bluey captures real-life issues, vitiligo could be the reason. One part of her fur is brown, and the other is white, with brown growing over time, just like how vitiligo affects skin in the real world. If that's true, then Bluey quietly added a real condition into the show, but they never talk about it. Maybe they don't want you to know. In the episode Double Babysitter, there's a small detail that most fans might not notice. A rugby ball stuck on the Healer family's roof. It appears in the scene where everyone is saying goodbye to Bandit and Chilli. But here's the weird part. It's not Bandit's usual rugby ball. His ball has green and yellow stripes, while this one is just a plain orange rugby ball. So, where did it come from? One theory is that Bandit had an old rugby ball before getting his new one, and ended up losing both in the same way. But that seems unlikely, right? Well, there's one more clue hiding in another episode, Mum School. When Bluey and Chilli are chatting outside, we can actually see where Bandit's ball went. It's sitting right on Lucky's family's roof. Looks like Bandit has a habit of launching balls onto rooftops. In the episode Double Babysitter, Bluey refuses to go to bed unless her parents are the ones tucking her in. At first, it just seems like she's being stubborn. But then we find out why. Her fear comes from something that happened with Nana Chris. According to Bluey, she got scared because her Nana was watching something on TV. Whatever it was, it must have really shaken her. And since Bluey is a family show, we don't see what is on the screen. But if it was bad enough to give Bluey nightmares, it was probably something creepy. Maybe it was a horror movie, but not just any horror movie, one that played on her worst fears. We've seen Bluey struggle with being alone in the dark before. Could Nana Chris have been watching something about a shadowy figure lurking in a forest? Or maybe something worse, like a lost child trying to find their way home? Bluey never tells us exactly what she saw, and neither does Nana Chris. It's almost like they don't want to talk about it, but the fear stuck with Bluey. It changed the way she sees bedtime. It made her afraid of sleeping without her parents close by. And the strangest part? We never find out what was on that TV screen. Maybe it's better that way, because if it was enough to scare Bluey that badly, imagine what it could do to us. Uncle Rad looks like a normal healer until you notice his fur. He isn't just red like Chilli or blue like Bandit, he's both, half red, half blue. But here's the thing, both Grandpa Bob and Grandma Chris are blue healers, and genetically, two blue healers almost never have a red pup. So how did Rad end up like this? Since Bluey focuses on real life, the most logical answer comes down to recessive genes. Even though Rad's parents are blue healers, they could still carry the red gene without showing it. If both passed that hidden red gene down to Rad, it could explain why his fur is a mix of both colors. It's rare, but not impossible. But what if Rad has a different parent? Maybe there was another red healer in the picture at some point. It would explain why Rad's fur is split between both colors. It might also explain why Grandpa Bob is never around. If something happened in the past, maybe it caused a divide in the family. Maynard is one of those Bluey characters who doesn't appear much, but when he does, it's clear he's been around for a long time. He's close to Grandpa Mort, familiar with Bluey and Bingo, and seems like part of the family. But here's the weird part. Why was he at Frisky and Uncle Rad's wedding? Most of the guests were either family or close friends. Maynard doesn't seem to fit into either category. But what if he's more connected than we think? One possibility is that he's actually an old friend of Frisky. We know Frisky and Chilli have been close for years, probably since childhood. And we also know Chilli grew up around the same area where Maynard hangs out with Mort. It wouldn't be surprising if Maynard had known both of them for years. Maybe he was like an uncle figure to Frisky when she was younger. If that's the case, it makes sense for him to be there on her big day. But there's another theory. Maynard runs a gas station. Uncle Rad works on an oil rig. Could they have met through work? Maybe some fuel and oil-related event brought them together, and they became friends. It's a long shot, but whatever the reason, one thing's clear. Maynard isn't just some random guy. He has ties to the Healer family, and those connections might go deeper than we realize. In the episode Dance Mode, the Healer family turns the sidewalk into their own personal stage. We see Chilli grooving past Wendy's car, Bandit getting into the rhythm, and Bluey showing off her best moves. But if you look closely, something strange happens in the background. Pat, ever the friendly neighbor, tells Bluey she's got some serious dance skills. But the second he speaks, Wendy's face changes, like she just heard something ridiculous. It's quick, but it's there, and it raises a big question. Why does Wendy look so annoyed? Maybe she secretly liked Bandit, and seeing him so happy with Chilli stings? Or maybe there's some unspoken neighborhood drama we don't know about. Could be jealousy too, watching the healers laugh and dance while she sits in her car alone. Whatever the reason, Wendy's reaction speaks volumes. And if Bluey has taught us anything, it's that even the smallest details might hold a bigger story. Bandit always has a clever way with words, but when he calls Bluey and Bingo salad dodgers, it's not just some random joke. That phrase has a deeper meaning, one that ties all the way back to the very first time Bluey was ever shown on screen. In the original pilot episode, Bandit played a game called Salad Dodgers, which was all about getting kids to eat their veggies in a fun way. The pilot wasn't exactly like the Bluey we know today, but little details from it still sneak into the show every now and then. And those are just some of the details Bluey keeps tucked away. Who knows what else is hiding in plain sight? See you next time!